Welcome back to TCS EduWorld YouTube channel. So here I am today with Stefan Haglund. He is the communications manager in Linnaeus University. So let's get on to him. Hi Stefan.
Hi there.
So
Hi.
I would like to introduce yourself. So.
Hi, my name is Stefan Haglund. I work at Linnaeus University as international student recruitment team manager, you could say. I've been working within this area actually for like 14 years now, so I have good access to the knowledge about that you need to know to get admitted in Sweden.
Okay, so that's good. So I would like to maybe to answer about the Linnaeus University. So could you speak something about the university as well?
Of course. Linnaeus University is the 5th largest university in Sweden when it comes to number of students. We have actually around 44,000 students. Among those, 2,000 are international and 15,000 is full-time students, so that's kind of the number to measure towards. So by number I would say that we are one of the bigger when it comes to international students. Broad University, south of Sweden, Växjö and Kalmar, which are the two cities where we have our campuses. But broad, as I said, in the way that we have a lot of different programs, so around 50 programs taught in English. The area where we are situated is known for innovation, entrepreneurship, sustainability. So in the region of Småland in Sweden, south of Sweden.
Yeah. So as you know, like I'm from Kerala, so Sweden Småland എന്ന് പറയുന്ന കൗണ്ടിലാണ് ഈ ലീനിയസ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി സ്ഥിതി ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ആക്ച്വലി അവർക്ക് 2 ക്യാമ്പസാണുള്ളത്. വെഖ്വ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സ്ഥലത്തൊരു ക്യാമ്പസും പിന്നെ കാൽമലൊരു ക്യാമ്പസും. ഞാനിപ്പോൾ വെഖ്വയിലാണുള്ളത്. ഇപ്പോൾ സ്റ്റീഫൻ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ എന്താണ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി എന്നുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളെ പറ്റി കൂടുതൽ പറയായിരുന്നു. ബാക്കി നമുക്ക് കൂടുതൽ ചോദിച്ചറിയാം. സോ സ്റ്റീഫൻ, സോറി ഫോർ മൈ the language that you don't understand, even though you love the place. So my next question is like, why should students choose Linnaeus University? So do you have something to tell, like why particularly Linnaeus?
Well, first of all, I would say like Sweden, because Sweden is a very strong education system when it comes to higher education. Sweden is one of the biggest spender when it comes to governmental money into the education system of higher education. So generally that says that the general system about higher education in Sweden is very well reputed. So that's basically step number one. And besides that, you can say that all Swedish universities are paid the same amount of money per students from the government, which means that the quality is not always up to like ranking or how big university or reputed the university is, which means that it's a solid education system. And when it comes to Linnaeus University, as I said, we are the 5th largest, so huge population, which means that we are also very well in certain areas. So as mentioned before, if you want to know something about entrepreneurship, sustainability and innovation, Linnaeus University is a really good place to study at. In difference also from a lot of other universities, we are in a bit smaller cities, which is that the study environment is very convenient. So wherever you will live almost within Växjö or Kalmar, you will live very close to the campuses. So for example, Växjö campus is rather unique in the way that all university buildings in one spot and then around 5,000 students just living on campus. So that means like between 1 to 5 minutes of walking distance down to the classroom basically. Yeah. So that's some good parts. Other parts obviously would be that, as I said, we are big in internationalization. So on campus, for example, large part of the students living here are international students. Yeah. So you get easily around on campus and obviously within the full society through with English just. Yeah. So that's some things.
So as Stefan said, like they have around 2,500 international students here, and as he said, why Linnaeus University is basically because of the quality of education they give here, and also as he told, it's not about the rankings of the university or it's not about how big the university is. It's always about how quality education they are giving. And also as he mentioned about the accommodation and the education system here, and I think like both U.A.E and Kalmar are based on American style of buildings, or it's just U.A.E?
U.A.E is the campus style. In Kalmar, we actually have built totally new facilities. So if you look at the pictures about the facilities in Kalmar, you can see that it's totally new facilities down in the guest harbor.
Okay.
So it's a beautiful location. And even if you look, we actually took part of the International Student Barometer a couple of years ago, and we were top ranked among 700 international universities when it comes to facilities.
Okay. That's good. That's cool.
Study environment is really good. Yeah.
So moving on by next question. So what kind of programs, like, can you tell us about the different kind of programs that you have?
Sure. We offer, as I said, around 50 international programs. 10 of them are bachelor programs and around 40 master programs. And what I usually describe is that we have a broad range of program, meaning that we can actually offer something to anyone, whatever background you have. The difference between us and, for example, a university like Chalmers would be that we are broad and we have all areas. So Chalmers being a technical institution, they have mostly that, and maybe they also have deeper programs within each area, while we have broad programs within a lot of different areas. So you can study everything from business, economics, social science, engineering, technology, natural science, design, humanities, etc.
Yeah, but what are the hot programs? So that's what basically the students would like to know. The hot programs in Linnaeus.
Of course. Well, for example, Linnaeus University is known for having a strong collaboration with IKEA, the Swedish furniture company that I know have started their first store now in India, in Hyderabad. I think second one is coming up in Delhi. Or Bangalore. And actually, we have a very strong collaboration with them called The Bridge. And under that collaboration, we have a program called the Innovation Program through Business, Engineering and Design, for example. So that's one of the most hot programs, I would say, that we have. We also have one program within energy and sustainability. So energy and management, basically. So you study, and that's also one hot program. And also besides that, I would say that Växjö as such is known for being one of the cities with the most companies within computer science, IT. So studying software technology here, for example, would give a big chance of getting a job after your education.
Yeah. So that's about the programs. And now I think the best question, because I already know what's the unique selling point of Linnaeus University, but normally students who approaches me for their masters in Sweden, basically when students have only 3-year bachelors, it's an issue to study in Sweden. So what alternatives that Linnaeus can provide to them? So the students coming for a 3-year degree, or basically what's your unique selling point for those students?
If exactly as you said, with a 3-year degree from India, there is a problematic situation, because that means that you cannot usually study like a master program. Sometimes if you have like an honors degree, you can do, but for general like past degrees, it's not possible. And the thing that we can offer within the certain areas is that we have top-up years. So coming from business, for example, with a Bachelor of Business Administration in India, 3-year degree, you could come here, do a top-up year, studying 1 extra year on bachelor level, and then get a bachelor degree award from Linnaeus University. Based on that bachelor degree, then you can apply further to a master degree. So you study 1 extra year here, you get a degree based on that, and then you can go further and study a master.
Yeah. So then the biggest question that comes here is after they do their top-up year, do they have a stay back here, or?
Yes. Whatever degree you finish in Sweden, as long as you get the degree, you can stay back 1 year. So that's a really good benefit. Also, even if you don't want to go for a master, you do this top-up year, you can also apply further for a resident permit for finding a job.
Yeah, so I think it's better to translate that specific part to my viewers. So, നമുക്ക് 3 വർഷത്തെ ഡിഗ്രി കഴിഞ്ഞ് ബാച്ചിലേഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കേരളത്തിൽ നിന്നോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നിന്നോ എവിടെ നിന്ന് വരുന്നവർക്കായാലും Linnaeus University ഒരു ടോപ്പ് ഇയർ ഓഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ ടോപ്പ് ഇയർ എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമുക്ക് ആ 3 ഇയറിൻ്റെ കൂടെ ഇവിടെ 1 വർഷം കൂടെ നമുക്ക് കോഴ്സ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് എന്താണോ ബാച്ചിലേഴ്സ് ചെയ്തത് അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ്, ലൈക്ക് ലീനിയേഴ്സും കൂടെ അതിൻ്റെ 4th ഇയറിലെ പാർട്ടായിരുന്നു എന്ന രീതിയിൽ ഒരു ബാച്ചിലർ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ലീനിയേഴ്സ് പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാലും നമുക്ക് 1 ഇയർ സ്റ്റേ ബാക്ക് ഉണ്ട്. ഈ 1 ഇയർ സ്റ്റേ ബാക്കിനകത്ത് നമുക്ക് ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഒന്നെങ്കിൽ മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സിന് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ജോബിന് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാം, അങ്ങനെ എന്ത് രീതിയിലും ചെയ്യാം. അപ്പം അത് ഇറ്റ്സ് റിയലി ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ഫോർ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ഹു ആർ കമ്മിങ് വിത്ത് എ 3 ഇയർ ഡിഗ്രി. സോ next is what kind of scholarships do you offer?
Linnaeus University, we have a scholarship for master students mainly. And for students that are newly admitted, and the scholarship we offer, we have about 50 students who get this Linnaeus University scholarship program, and it's a 75% coverage of the tuition fees. Basically, the application process is that you apply during the same period as you apply for the Swedish Institute scholarship program, which is the second big scholarship program in Sweden, meaning that the application process starts like 10th of February approximately, and then you apply before 20th of February. The main criteria that we ask for somebody applying for our scholarship program is that you prioritize Linnaeus University as your first option in the application, because as you know, hopefully by now, you have 4 programs you can choose in your master application in Sweden, and to be chosen and have the possibility to apply is that you prioritize Linnaeus University as first priority. If you do, we will send this email to you regarding applying for a scholarship around 10th of February, and then you have your instructions regarding how to apply. And what we look at in the selection process is obviously like statement of purpose, motivation letter, CV, and then the education, basically the documents you sent in when applying.
And also about like how well they perform in their academics as well.
Exactly. So like GPA and level of English is really important.
Yeah.
So that's actually something I also give as a recommendation for students applying for scholarship, that even if you are exempted regarding English, being like a technology student for India, for example, you are exempted. We still recommend when applying for a scholarship, do a test, because an exemption is one thing, but stating that you have a really strong English through a test.
Yeah. And you take like IELTS,
IELTS, TOEFL,
So സ്കോളർഷിപ്സിൻ്റെ കാര്യം ഓൾറെഡി സ്റ്റീഫൻ പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞു. അതിനകത്ത് ബേസിക്കലി ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ലാംഗ്വേജ് ലൈക്ക് ടെക്നിക്കൽ കോഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് വരുന്നവർക്ക് ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ലാംഗ്വേജ് റിക്വയർമെൻറ്റ് ഇവിടെ ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ പോലും IELTS അല്ലെങ്കിൽ TOEFL അല്ലെങ്കിൽ PTE പോലത്തെ ഏതെങ്കിലും ടെസ്റ്റ് എടുക്കുന്നത് സ്കോളർഷിപ്പിൻ്റെ കാര്യത്തിൽ ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് അതിനെ എന്താ പറയുക സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യും. സോ സ്കോളർഷിപ്പിന് ഓപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ എപ്പോഴും അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ലാംഗ്വേജ് ടെസ്റ്റും കൂടെ എടുക്കാനായിട്ട് എപ്പോഴും നോക്കുക. അത് ഞാൻ ഓൾറെഡി പറയണതാണ്. സോ that's one thing. So let's move on to the next question. So what all industries or which all industries you have collaborations with? Like you already said about IKEA. So I would like to know like if you have something more.
Sure. As I mentioned, IKEA, obviously that's something important to state out. You also have like Södra, which is one of the biggest companies when it comes to manufacturing wood or paper pulp, for example. A huge company in Sweden. Due to that, Sweden is one of the biggest European countries where exporting wood and paper pulp and these kind of things. So it's a very important industry in Sweden, and the head office of Södra is also here in Växjö. You have like, for example, Electrolux, and you have Volvo, who also produce their dumpers here in the area. And also, as I mentioned before, Växjö is known as the biggest IT hub of Sweden when it comes to how many companies, being a small city. So there is a lot of small consultant, computer science, IT businesses who are from this city.
Okay. So you think like the people who do something like computer science or IT programs, they are more likely to, like comparatively, they are more likely to get admitted to some companies as well.
Definitely. It's if you look at the companies here employing people from the computer science educations, I mean, they know nowadays that they can't really find somebody only speaking Swedish. Okay. Meaning that they mainly ask for English as a language that you need to. So I would say that a rather huge part of them get their job directly here. And also, as generally in Sweden, I would say that engineering part is also good. It's harder within business due to that. As you also know, you obviously know being here, Swedish people mostly study social science and business. Less within technology, engineering, which means that the industry know that they are lacking of this, and therefore they are more and more only demanding like English language for these positions.
Of course, so that's the one thing that what Stefan told about the industry collaboration and also chance of getting a placement. And I would like to add regarding IT courses, like Sweden is like changing like a Silicon Valley of Europe right now. So that's the thing, right? So
definitely,
that's one you should look for. So people who are studying computer science or IT from India,
those of you who like gaming, you've probably heard of a lot of Swedish companies, or Minecraft, for example, or Candy Crush, and these kind of games are from Sweden.
Yeah, and also like we have some game development course as well. So do Linnaeus University provide some game development course? Yeah,
we offer that also. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's the stuff. Like if you, as like I already say, of course I always say, if you want to ask me about something about the course or some details about studying in Sweden, you can always contact me. Like in the description, you have my WhatsApp number or the contact email address, whatever it is. So just ask me. Feel free to ask me. So that's the thing. And we would like to know about the accommodation here, the student housing and all, like how it works.
Yes, both in Växjö and Kalmar, we have we don't have. We used to have like a housing guarantee for every paying student. We don't have it nowadays. We have it still for all scholarship students. But if you follow the instructions about how to place yourself in the housing queues in Sweden, you know we love queuing. So when there is a queue, we are standing straight and we love to follow the instructions. And that's something the students should do also, because we send out a lot of information regarding how to place yourself in the housing queues and everything. And if you follow these instructions, chances of getting accommodation is really high.
Okay.
Because on campus, for example, as I described, we have about 5,000 accommodations, dorms, mixed. And due to that, international students get admission letters much earlier than the Swedish students. You know, the Swedish students, they apply in April. The international students apply in January. Meaning the admission office are there in April for the international students, while in July for the national students. So you have like 3 months advantage of finding accommodation before the Swedish students. So my strong advice is follow the instructions, try to find your accommodation before July when the Swedish students get their admission letters, because then the housing market becomes a mess.
So as he said, like international students ഇവിടെ നോർമൽ ലോക്കൽസ് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്നതിനെക്കാട്ടിലും വളരെ മുന്നെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ഇവിടെ എല്ലാം വരുന്നത്. സോ അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ എത്രയും പെട്ടെന്ന് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ക്യൂ ടൈമിൽ നിൽക്കുക. സോ അതാണ് പറയാനുള്ളത് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഇതിനകത്തുള്ള കാര്യം, വേറെ ഒന്നുമല്ല. സോ ദെൻ ലൈക്ക് could you speak about any examples of a successful student? Successful student is like, what I mean is like a student who completed masters here in Linnaeus in some program, had to got admitted. So maybe that will be a motivation to the future incoming students. So
sure. As I described before, we talked about students within computer science. There we have a lot of examples of students. I can't really mention names now, but you know, there is a huge population of international former students working within that area in Växjö at the moment. At the university, obviously, we have a lot of former PhD students who's come through our O system, international students. So I would say that chancing on finding a position rather good. If you study within certain areas, coming from business, like technology, as I said, and the natural sciences, good chances. But business and social science, humanities, less chances, I would say.
So also like just because you just described about the business and all those stuff, so what do you think about the students who study business courses here, the chance of building their own business?
Definitely. There is always a chance of building your own business, and I would say that the regulations are rather smooth towards international students, so you can build your own business. And I wouldn't say either that it's totally impossible to get a job. That's not what I meant when saying that it's for business students, but it's just that it's tougher. And for example, for somebody applying for engineering, technology, then it might not be as important to speak Swedish. While coming from social science, humanities and business, start studying Swedish also by the beginning of your studies, if your kind of intention is to stay in Sweden. Because as I described to you before when we talked, is that something that is important in Sweden, even if you might have working language English, is to understand the kind of fika Swedish. Fika is when you sit down around taking a cup of coffee and just socializing. So socializing Swedish is good to know, while working language can be English.
And also the Swedes love when we speak their language. So that's one major thing.
And one difficult part is obviously that Swedes speak very good English, while we also love speaking English. So that means that you don't learn your Swedish so quick based on the fact just
of course
being a lot of other countries where people don't speak so good English.
It's like, you know, like what I felt in Sweden is like when I try to improve my Swedish with Swedes, they try to improve their English with me. So that's the part, that's the exchange part there.
Sweden is actually the country in the world speaking best English. We compete with the Dutch, not having as first language.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So finally, do you have some advices to the future incoming students?
Well, advices is obviously to make sure that you follow instructions regarding how to apply. I would say that Sweden is a very digitalized country, which means that it's a rather straight-on process when applying. And also, being a very rationalized country, as long as you do stuff as they are supposed to do, you have good chances of being admitted, I would say. And also, actually, generally in Sweden, we are searching a lot for international students. So there is huge opportunities if you are a student with the correct study intentions and really want to concentrate on your studies and try to learn a bit about the Swedish culture also. As long as you do, your steps of becoming like a long-time citizen of Sweden increases also, and chances of getting employed here.
Yeah. So, that's about the interview. So that's all. Thank you so much, Stefan, for your time. So
Thank
I
you.
hope like we meet soon.
Yeah.
And I also hope like we can have more and more interesting sessions with Stefan in the future.
Sure.
So, yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.